Not content with your content? You've come to the right place. The DisContent Show with Joe Kuzma. Every brand starts with a story. Here's how you can grow your business by sharing it. Now, with today's topic, the host of the DisContent Show, Joe Kuzma.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the DisContent Show. I am your host, Joe Kuzma, and for those of you who listened to the first episode of the DisContent podcast, welcome back. And for all our new listeners, you could go back and listen to the original episode. Basically, what I'm doing here is on today's show is kind of wrapping up what the DisContent Show actually is going to be. So the eventual goal here is to at least put out a weekly series here on wherever you're listening to this, be it iTunes or YouTube. So make sure, first of all, to subscribe. It sounds like I'm begging, but you know what? It's something that you got to do and just remind folks so they don't miss out on anything. We don't want to miss out. So what I'm trying to do is teach you some of the tools that I've learned in order to help build, expand, grow your business, platform, hobby, side hustle, whatever it may be that you need to do with content marketing. Now, like I said, I kind of make my own rules here. So the first few episodes coming out a little more rapid fire because I want you to be able to get to the good stuff, but I want you to know why I'm doing this. I want you to know why you're going to do it as well, if you're going to do it. So today is content marketing the topic? Content marketing. I'll explain what that is if you don't know already. Is content marketing a fit for your business? Well, I'm a big proponent of this because obviously this is how I put food on the table for my family. This is my bread and butter. This is the thing that I got into. I mentioned a little bit about my background on the previous episode where I was already working on computers and stuff in high school, go through college, go from a computer science degree, switch over to an English degree, professional writing and editing to where I think maybe I'm going to be like in journalism or I'm going to be working doing things with magazines. But instead, it was that computer background that got me into websites and websites that got me in with a marketing agency. And I had freelance work up until that point, and still some people I help out too that are dear friends of mine by all means, and my own side stuff and everything else. But when I got in on that ground floor from the web stuff, it kind of just transitioned into, I was the young guy. I am in my mid-30s, but we're talking about 10 years ago when, I think you still needed a college email address in order to sign up for Facebook. And how things have changed. I remember my first iPhone, the 3G, was like the major upgrade that just came out. That was the one that really kicked the door open for those people like myself that try to shy away from being an early adopter of technology, because I feel almost the first thing that comes out all the time is kind of a beta test, which is why you guys should be getting started with some of this stuff. If you missed it, the 5 pillars of content marketing. But first, what is content marketing? You're going to find this in a dictionary. More than likely, somebody else is going to tell you that I'm wrong. Everybody has their own ways of doing this. So take the tools that you want, put them in your toolbox, and use them how you see fit. But I feel that content marketing is leveraging different platforms to share your information or content on them. Pretty simple, right? So the 5 pillars is blogging, social media, podcasting, ebooks, and email newsletters and or email marketing. So those are all different ways to reach different people and different audiences depending on, well, quite frankly, how much time you have involved. Now, is content marketing right for you? I feel like it is right for everyone. If you have a website, there is absolutely no reason for you to not update that site at least once, twice a month, once a week, whatever you feel comfortable with. But you got to set an alarm. You got to put an alert. Put it on the calendar. It might be something, you're talking to somebody, and if you're like me, I have these little checklist apps on my smartphone. I'll be going over some of the tools and tips with how to use those, the things that I use in my daily life. But that's for another day. But just jot it down, because you know what? We all get so wrapped up in our daily lives. We get busy. You'll forget it. Honestly, with this DisContent Show, And the reason it's called discontent, in case you missed on the last one, it's because you're discontent with this type of stuff. You're not getting the traction or the results that you think you should have. And maybe it's because you gave up, you abandoned a blog or a Twitter account. You haven't been able to update it, or you get frustrated and think, well, I don't have time to do this. Or maybe you could do things better. And this is for everyone from a beginner, maybe to other experts that may listen. If you are an expert, I would love to talk to you. So go ahead and hit me up on my website, joekuzma.com. Never know. Maybe get some interviews as well with some industry leaders on here too, and get some different ideas, because you know what? There is no wrong way to doing some of this. Now, there are just some bad things that you could do on the internet. Some things maybe you should think through before doing them, or just kind of pet peeves I have. If you have a business, I don't know, whatever it is, you sell burritos and you're posting pictures of your kids and dogs instead of your delicious food. That could be one aspect of this. But I feel as though most people are able to tell a story. I just told you about my high school and college days, and just one story alone was how my web experience transitioned with an English degree and a senior project, and I had at the time a friend of a friend, so word of mouth. Everybody finds the college kid who can make a website. Well, most of them can't make them very well, but I was fortunate enough to be in a position where I not only had the experience, but I needed to do something for a senior project, cut someone a nice break, and they had a beautiful, just a gorgeous motorcycle website. They were doing custom choppers. If you remember, the whole Orange County chopper thing was a big deal back in the day. This was something that got me through college. This was my senior project, and I got an A. And just right there, stop. I just told a story. It's as simple as something like that from your experience. Now, sometimes you're going to have writer's block. Sometimes it's not going to come right to you. But you know what? You have conversations every day, whether it's with the spouse, if you have kids or coworkers or other friends or family. You go to the bar and you're talking to, the equivalent of Norm on Cheers or something like that. These things are going to come to you. So don't forget, you got to put something, even if you text yourself, you could text yourself. It is a thing. If you text, if you do pen and paper, carry it around with you, because these ideas, these inspirations, you may have a dream one night. You wake up, write it down before you even brush your teeth. You don't want to lose it. It'll eat at you, because trust me, it's just one of those things where you get so caught up and you're not thinking about some of these things. But it may be something you have, a positive experience with like a client, or if you have something negative, you don't want to come off as a whiner or complainer or something of that nature. But I do believe that most people, they could look at their own website, their own history, their own about you. What about you? Sell yourself. Don't be afraid. I don't want to sound like full of myself or conceited or just talk about me, but that's really what you're doing, because then people get to know you. They get to know your story. And if you put these things in words on your website, it helps you rank higher with Google. Because what you don't know that you're doing is you're telling Google that, hey, this website, it's not dead. It's alive. It's kicking. And it has fresh information on it. So I'm important. I need to be seen higher first, maybe even. There's other factors, of course, because you know what? Personally, I live in Ohio. If you're in California and I'm looking for a plumber, I'm probably not going to get search results from a plumber in California due to the type of local results that Google filters out when I'm logged in on one of my devices, because it knows that me, Joe Kuzma, I am in Ohio and not California. Now, if you do show up, then maybe you don't need to listen to the DisContent Show, because if you're showing up as a plumber in California, over here in my search results in Ohio, you're already doing some pretty kick butt work, let me tell you. But you know what? Even if it is plumbing, you just never know, like, hey, you know what? This is the type of thing. My uncle can barely set an alarm clock, a digital alarm clock, that is. He doesn't really use a cell phone, but he does have one of the streaming sticks. He got him a Roku like maybe 2 Christmases ago. And he has learned that you can find anything on YouTube. And what you most likely end up finding are people who are experts. Now, some people are hobbyists. They're going to tell you, right now I'm trying to figure out how to fix a riding lawnmower, okay? Anything from fixing your sink and things like that. But if you're local, I've seen pool installers put things up on video, and a lot of people are going to think, well, you know what, I'm going to give that stuff away for free, and, but this builds trust. People know that you know what you're talking about. If you're listening to me right now, hopefully you grasp the same, because it's the same exact type of concept. I mean, when I used to work and put myself through college, people could go in and buy a computer part off the shelf, and then they would ask you how to install it into their computer, and I would say, we sell that service for $30, and I wouldn't want to give them that exact advice, because you're shooting yourself in the foot and giving $30 away. But at the same time, too, if there's something where you're talking about how that is such a fantastic upgrade for your computer at home, you know what? Somebody may just be encouraged enough in what you have to tell them to buy your service. So there is a difference between just giving away things for free and, well, we'll just throw it out there, positioning yourself as an expert. So it doesn't matter if you're like this giant corporation or a pizza shop with just one location. This is about getting your name out there. And I do believe that even if you had a pizza shop and you're someone that can have a conversation like I'm having right now, you went to record it and put it up on something like iTunes, you may be surprised at the number of people who would be entertained and listen. Remember, Seinfeld, for those of you who remember Seinfeld when it was on TV, it was a show about nothing. So if you have a show about something, you're already one step ahead of the game. But beware, is content marketing for you? There is a little bit of sweat equity. That's what I like to call getting your hands dirty, grinding and making sure that you get some things done. Now, how much of that you do is entirely up to you. But the only thing I ask is that you do it, get out there, do it, but don't give up on it right away. It takes time to see this snowball gradually roll down the hill and get bigger. If you quit on it after 2 weeks, the people that you're already starting to get involved and interested in these sort of things are they're going to quit on you too, just like you quit on yourself. So like I said, I'm not the one that usually be the pep talk cheerleader, but you can't quit on this. So even if you do, let's just say it was a podcast. You decided you want to do a podcast. You talk for 5 minutes or you talk for 10 minutes once a week. Do that. Try it for 6 months. See if you could do that. It's not the biggest investment. Some people, I have other podcasts. I have podcasts that I help other people with or give advice for as well. And they could talk for 20 minutes, half hour. I know personally the sports inspired one that I have, a lot easier to talk sports. You could go 30, 40 minutes sometimes easily without even thinking about it. And by all means, you don't have to start thinking about, I'm going to go through a lot of these tools. You already have them. You don't have to go out and buy a fancy microphone or these expensive equipment. A lot of this stuff is already readily available to you to just get started. There's apps and things of that nature, earbuds and things that have a microphone. Now, some stuff's better than others, but you just got to make sure you're good, because there's a lot of bad stuff out there that's not any good. You never know, too. There may not be anybody in the field that you're talking about, be it a blog, be it a podcast. You get into something that's a niche and you have a unique solution for a specific problem. That's how most people go from being unheard of to very successful. So I'm actually hoping this is a niche that you are interested in as well, because that's why I created this DisContent series. I want to hear about all the people that end up listening to me, whether you work with me or you don't end up working with me on a consulting basis or anything like that. That's not of my main concern. Trust me. I talk to so many people, and this is almost like something like where it became easier to post on Facebook as opposed to calling up 10 people and saying, hey, so-and-so graduated preschool. That would be my young daughter, by the way, not too long ago. Thank you for those of you who may have just thought, aw. But, it was a lot easier to just tell you that right now, and it might hit 50 people than calling up everyone individually or mailing everyone or doing anything like that. So it's that amplification. It's that frequency of being able to, you're not just throwing like darts at a board blindfolded and trying to hit a bullseye. And trust me, you're not going to score points on every single thing that you do. But if you do it just good enough, trust me, this is going to work for you. It's a little bit extra of something that you're being asked to do. But if you've already got the interest in it and you're listening to this, I have a feeling that content marketing is for you. Now, which form of content marketing? Well, if you're thinking podcasting is not for you because you're not much of a public speaker, trust me, sometimes I got a little bit of a lisp here. Sometimes there's stuttering definitely goes in my family. Listen to the radio. Listen to talk radio, like sports talk, or if you're into politics or news. Now, these are some polished people who are professionals who get paid on a daily basis to speak to you, to speak for a living, to talk, to conversate. And you'll hear them clear their throat, say, You've already heard me do all of these type of things. Pause, repeat words. There's nothing wrong with any of that. By all means, you don't need to spend 3 hours writing a script to do something like that. If you could talk about something or tell a story or just write down a few things that you don't want to forget. Could be something that just happened in your day and it's fresh in your brain. Write it down. Actually, write the blog and then go and record. And then you have your notes in front of you. You kill two birds with one stone. Those are the type of things that I'm going to be going through in future episodes here of the DisContent Show. My goal is that you don't see this as anything scary and that these tips and tricks do help you. And trust me, I want to help you in as many ways as I can. So until next time, and by all means, contact me. You know where to find me. I've got all of the various social media things. They're over on the website, joekuzma.com, especially if you have topics that you would like to hear me cover. Thanks once again for listening. My name is Joe Kuzma. Until next time, be safe, be good. Wait a minute. Yes, I have a sign off too. There's buzz phrases. Yes, there's catchphrases, buzzwords, and everything like that. But if you like this sort of thing, content marketing is for you. So be safe, be good, and I will catch you later. Hi folks, this is Joe Kuzma. No, don't worry, you're not hearing things twice. I'm just here to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you for listening to today's show and being a follower and subscriber of the DisContent podcast. And I want to remind you that if you're interested in more information about all the various things it is that I do, whether it be about this show, content marketing, or you want to ask a question, you may visit me at joekuzma.com. That's JOEKUZMA.com. Or you can follow me as well on Facebook. Make sure you get the page and not the personal profile. Sorry, it's only for friends and family. Also on Twitter at Joe_Kuzma, LinkedIn or Instagram. Also, don't forget, if you haven't already, subscribe, whether that be on iTunes, YouTube, or your favorite podcast provider, so you don't miss out on any of the great episodes that we have. Once again, thank you again for your support, and I look forward, as always, to speaking and interacting with each of you again soon.